This episode of Indy Mogul is brought to you by Storyblocks.
You know what I'm saying?
It just adds like a haze.
The texture.
Here's an easy example of this is too much.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's nice. I like that.
You're not gonna get that effect trying to edit.
Yo, what's going on, Indy Mogul? Today, we're gonna show you guys how to do this effect. Basically next to no post-production or budget. So to do this, I got my buddy Jakob Owens here. Jacob, tell them a little bit about the credits that you worked on.
Yeah, I just came off shooting at ESPN 30 for 30 film, Chuck and Tito. Always, doing music videos for the likes of Futuristic, Kyle, Tyga, Bone Thugs, just a bunch of artists across the board. Yeah. And yeah.
Tremendous amount of music videos, but this effect that we're talking about today does not just apply to music videos.
Correct.
We're talking about what today?
We're just gonna be doing some in-camera lens effects that honestly you can find with objects, like everyday objects that you can find around your house, or you could pick up easily at like Lowe's or Target if you wanted to. Just some really cool effects that you can do for cheap, easy, quick, and they look cool.
Home Depot and Target. You hear that, Indy people? Okay. Yes, we're gonna shoot this on a red, but we're also gonna shoot this with a 6D Mark II. So no complaints about budget or anything like that. Why is it important to be able to shoot this stuff on set?
There's certain things you can't replicate in post, like with the way like the sun or light on the set bounces off whatever you're using or throwing in front of the camera, and the way it interacts those glass pieces with the lens is just something that, again, you can't replicate that in post as much as you want to. You can kind of create a similar effect, but it's just not, all the way there. It saves you time in post because you don't have to try and make it look that way. You shot it that way, so you're already done and good to go. So,
but two, it's not something you're just gonna outgrow. Like feature films, I see tons of projects.
Feature films, TV shows, music videos, every single one of those things use in-camera lens effects. Like there's all different types of, big budget production stuff as well as indie stuff that use in-camera effects.
It's anytime that you see like a strange optical distortion that's done for stylistic effect.
Right.
We're gonna be showing you how to recreate that today. So you ready to do this?
Let's do it.
In-camera lens effects with Jakob Owens, let's go. Okay, so we are shooting this with two cameras today. We got the Canon 6D Mark II. For all the people out there complaining and saying that the camera is the most important thing, it's not the most important thing. We'll get to that in just a minute. And we've also got
Red Helium 8K.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jake, what is the first thing that we need to know to actually make these effects work?
I would say the first thing that you need to know or you need to take into account is your focal range. I would say anything 35 millimeter and beyond. 50 and beyond is usually like where you like to stay at. Like 50, you kind of get the most bang for your buck with any sort of lens effects because it just kind of really, softens like what's in front of the lens, and so you're not seeing like, oh, there's a light bulb in front of the lens. You know what I mean? So using a tighter focal length is just probably the most key and central thing to getting cool in-camera effects.
When we're looking for actual optical lens effects and objects to use,
right.
What kinds of objects are you looking for usually?
Anything that's like clear. So any type of glass that's not like opaque, you can see through it. So like a wine glass, a light bulb. If you can see through it with your eye, then the camera's gonna be able to see through it.
First up, we've got
Prism.
Yeah, and what is this used for mostly? Again,
just like, I would say anything like photography or video, just kind of getting cool reflections and refractions. Like it'll, with a prism, you get a little more rainbow-like effect, you know what I'm saying? So it just, depending on which side you shoot it and how light's hitting it, you can get a ton of different effects with it. But a prism's a really cool way to get some cool stuff. They're hard to like turn because they're kind of slick and they only have like 3 sides, so it's hard to like dance it and then you dirty it up by touching it. Yep. So this one, actually, throw on this handle.
All right.
Now we have much more control, full rotate. What I would do, in this instance, I would mount it to the actual camera body. So again, it feels like a part of the lens.
Got it.
If we were doing like a performance music video where there's a lot of movement, artist is moving around, then you dance it in and out, you get a lot of cool stuff. But in this case, I would try and lock it off so it just sits in front of the lens wherever you want to put it, and then it just feels like a part of the shot, especially because the scene is so calm.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, you kind of use the lens effect to match the tone of the scene, right?
Right.
Like, this is a chill scene, so we're gonna lock it off.
Exactly.
And we're just gonna cover a little bit of the frame to add in something subtle. So basically, when you use these kinds of effects, is there anything that you have to watch out for though?
Yeah, especially with prisms because they are so reflective.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention, you can be all of a sudden like getting a reflection in the shot of a tripod leg, your shoes, and you might not, you might be so into the shot and you don't even realize it. So just being careful, like when you're dealing with prisms, of any sort of reflections that are coming from off camera that look weird or unnatural, or even just like are blocking the subject's face too much. So by introducing it there, if that is your frame, like it just helps you know, like kind of hide that and make it more interesting and help you also focus on your subject.
So in addition to this kind of prism, you've got different types of prisms.
So that's like a glass orb prism. You get a little more bokeh-like effect out of it because of the roundness shape and having all the small little triangle details. I would use this in a more like subtle way, more like dreamlike, flashback.
Yeah.
This one definitely has more of like a bokeh-like effect. And this one works better on like, I would say 50 plus. Like, this one, you can get away with a wider lens, but that one, because it is like a much smaller surface area than like how wide that is, I would go like 50 and beyond.
Let's switch on to a 50. Oh, that's cool.
I would like spin it if like you had like a performance music video going on. There's an artist on camera performing, doing something. It's like spinning it. The way the light's interacting with the scene, you know, even with them, it would look really cool.
Cool, so what's up next? Number 2, we've got
Light bulb.
Gotcha.
Any sort of light bulb that's clear with filament, so something, again, it's not opaque, you can see through it, and you have all these kind of like, you know, you have the filament inside working, so as you're shooting through that, you just get some really cool effects. You obviously can't use a standard like new age LED light bulb, like you can't see through that, and it's like an Edison bulb would be, you know, a really good light bulb to use. I think I picked that up at Home Depot for, I don't know, $7 or something like that. So if you have $7 laying around, pick up a light bulb, get some cool in-camera
Someone out
effects.
there is like, this is too expensive. It's not Indy enough, I can't afford this light bulb. All right, so let's shoot with these and actually show off what the effect looks like with and without it. So let's do this. Do you always shoot a clean plate of a lot of the footage?
Yeah, so typically like in a music video, you know, shoot a clean plate. So you have it, then maybe punch into a tighter lens, switch up the lens, and then throw in your effects. Plus it's good to always have a clean, because if in the edit, for whatever reason, the client's like, hey, can you remove that like effect? It's like, no, it's baked in the lens. So you want to protect yourself, you know what I mean? Not everyone's gonna love it. So just making sure you have one clean, one regular. Throw it right in front there.
Right in there, okay.
Right in there. And put a little pressure against the lens so it feels fixed. You know what I mean? It feels like it's a part of the lens, like we're getting some kind of flare.
It adds some character in a part of an image that doesn't have a lot.
So yeah, this is on a 35. You know, we throw on a 50 to 100. And it completely has a different effect because, you know, all the different glass elements in the lens, but also being on a tighter focal range. It's gonna be essentially that same effect, but it's gonna interact differently. It's gonna look differently. You're always gonna get a different look. And so just playing with, focal ranges as well as like the placement of it.
Yeah. Next up, we're moving up to what a light bulb should actually be used for. We're plugging it in.
Yeah, so, you know, putting it into a socket like this where we can run it and attach it to a dimmer. This was a trick I did, man, probably back in like 2013, 14. We had a light bulb on set and we had one of these and a dimmer, and we just thought like it'd be cool if like the light bulb was like flickering on and off or like kind of dimming up and down. So by throwing this on a dimmer, well, you can kind of have it go bright and soft, bright and soft. So not only are you shooting through the glass, but now you're having the filament inside with the light coming on and off, and just adds another level.
And this is straight up from Home Depot. It's just literally a socket to a wall plug, plugged into a dimmer.
Correct.
So it totally works. Ready? Let's plug it in.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, go more on the subtle end, not so high when you take it up. This is where I need an AC to pull focus for me because I'm having trouble here, but still looks cool. All right, a couple more here.
Dude, that's awesome.
And real quick, I want to remind everyone about our amazing sponsor, Storyblocks, who are always here for us when we need a clip of a woman picking up papayas at the market. All jokes aside, we've literally relied on Storyblocks whenever we've needed B-roll shots of film sets or shots of LA to cut to, and it literally saves us so much time in post-production. And in this very video, we literally scoured their entire library for all the lens flares and effects that you're going to find to demonstrate all the things that we talk about in this edit. Now, what's great is that we actually aren't limited to picking or choosing just one clip at a time, since Storyblocks also offers subscription plans for unlimited downloads for up to something like 790,000 HD and 4K video clips. So instead of paying for each clip individually, we can literally just swap out any shot we want in the edit at any time. And at just $29 a month, it's actually just a must-have for anyone shooting narrative or documentary. So stop stressing about how much B-roll you have to get. Get started today by going over to storyblocks.com/IndyMogul, which we'll put in the link in the description down below. But thank you again to Storyblocks, and now back to the episode.
Moving on from that, we've got this crazy one over here. Now, this is something that you actually make too.
Correct. So this is the Kaleidoscope filter, and it's in a rotating tray too, so you can like move it and rotate it when it's on your camera. But it just, allows you to get a center focal point on a subject because the center is clear, and then you just it duplicates the image all around whatever you're shooting in the middle, and just gives it a cool, trippy, it could be like a dreamlike vibe, a tripped out vibe, but just very stylistic, high energy, like performance music video vibe. It's just a cool thing to like cut into and just utilize. It's cool to like punch in, swirl, give it some energy, high energy performance. So it's more like something that you're just gonna cut in quick to. You have a cool twist, turn, show it effect, you're out. It's not something like a shot you're living on for 20, 30 seconds at a time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that sparkles looks really nice.
You know what I mean? Doing like detailed jewelry shots.
Alrighty, now for this, let's also shoot this with the 6D Mark II, also just to show the difference. It doesn't look too different at the end of the day.
Right.
When it comes to rigging something like this on here, just cruise around the front.
Easy.
Bang, super fast, here we go.
Yeah, and again, depending on the focal length, if you're at a tighter lens with this kind of filter on, you're gonna get more of an even spread across the whole image, like the image replicating. And if you're at a wider, you're gonna get more of that center focal point, and then it kind of being more of like a circle replicating around.
All right, what are we looking at here?
So this is just a random glass cup that I pulled from over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's, you can see through it with your eye, but this one's cool because it has a lot of texture to it. So again, depending, like you could go for one that's straight clear. This one has nice texture, so the way the light bounces off of it, we'll probably get some like in-camera bokeh a little bit, but yeah, just playing with any type of glass. Like,
again, the point is here, you can find literally anything in your house.
Be a wine glass, this little glass, any sort of piece of glass that you can kind of just play with and dirty the lens with a little bit to try and get something unique. Like what are the odds that someone else is gonna have this exact glass? So literally the effect you're gonna do is an effect that no one else can do.
And it's totally one of a kind. And again, the key is to not cover up her face with the image, just to add a little bit of texture in right here.
Have your hand on just up there. There we go, just hold it there. Boom, in-camera effect. No one else has done this. One of a kind effect.
Any last takeaways for how to use this stuff and like things to avoid to make sure you don't use it wrong?
It's like with anything. It's like when DSLRs came out and DSLR-itis, everyone was, just shooting as wide open as possible, and you have all this shifty focus because everyone's so wide open and it's just like in and out of focus. So, kind of like same thing with this. Like use it sparingly. They're meant to be stylistic shots. You know what I mean? Something that you can cut to, give a shot, style, flare, boom, you're out of it, or set the scene with it, or whatever. Don't make your entire video nothing but lens effects. I guarantee the YouTube comments are gonna be like, oh, I'm having a seizure.
We're kind of overdoing it to show the effect.
Right.
But they're supposed to be sprinkles, right? You don't want to eat a bowl of sprinkles. You got to have some base. You got to have something, some meat on there, just a little graze on top, right?
Absolutely.
Sounds good. You've also got your own prisms too. You have your own company around this stuff too.
I do, because again, I come from that background of doing things in camera, and so we've always done things in camera, but there hasn't been ways to like mount stuff. So yeah, we actually started this company, Prism Lens Effects, and we make mountable, prisms, glass objects, filters, and different things so you can get cool in-camera effects.
Also, don't forget that we also have Indy Mogul merch, which is now available. Some of the stuff I'm wearing, if you want to find it, just scroll underneath the video. It's going to be all there on that bar as well, including all the stuff that Sade's been wearing as well in this video. Looking good, representing the channel. Awesome. Well, if you don't know about the Buff Nerds, of course you probably do already because Jacob Owens is awesome and amazing. You can find them online at BuffNerds. Where else can they find you?
Instagram at Jacob Owens.
Cool, sounds good. And Sade, get in here too. Sade, where can they find you? This is our wonderful model for the day.
I'm on Instagram, _SADE Jones.
Also, a huge thank you to Storyblocks. Don't forget that you can save both time and money like us by heading over to storyblocks.com/IndyMogul. And if you want to learn more about the Buff Nerd himself, don't forget that we also have a podcast discussion with Jacob that we're going to put in the description down below.
There you have it, guys. There's the episode of Indy Mogul. Thank you so much for watching this episode. And of course, catch you guys next time.
I was filming a baseball show, and like literally the athletes would sprint and I'd run alongside them, catch it, because they wanted still that handheld field and not like a gimbal or steady cam. So just like being able to literally keep up with athletes as they're running, get the shot, and it's just something that
I'm just imagining like a director telling Jacob to like go run after the ball while it's in the air. And Jake's just like
He's like,
like catches it landing, runs with it running.